morning and welcome to M is 4. Today we're talking about items I bought for reasons other than the actual product, either the smell, the packaging, the collaboration, or the name of it. And these are things that came into my collection and then ended up staying because either that one reason was so compelling that it was enough to keep a piece of makeup, or because the whole thing ended up being a better item than I thought it was going to be. So the first thing we're going to start talking about today is smell. I am very particular about fragrancing, and there's a lot of things that are immediately decluttered because of how the fragrancing is. If it's overly fragranced, if it's overly perfumey. I don't mind some fragrance, but it has to be the right fragrance. So we're going to start with this item. This is the Tarte base tape. And I don't always use primer, but when I do, I usually use the Tatcha liquid silk canvas. But this primer came into my life and it smells like lovely toasted coconut. So it survived the great declutter of 2022 almost solely because of its smell. It's also very hydrating, which is nice for the other parts of my face that get dehydrated or dry, but it's really here just for the smell. Also in that same category, the Tarte, the Sea Jelly Toasted Coconut. It's a lovely, like a brownish color. It's a nice kind of a lip balm slash gloss. It's got a glossy finish to it, but it also has the lovely toasted coconut smell. All right then. The next item in that area of smell is the Laneige Sleeping Mask in Ginger Snap. Now this was the limited edition holiday, came with peppermint and another sleep mask. It's nice. I don't like this packaging because you've got to dip your finger in it. And at first when it's high, that's fine, but when it starts getting low, you start getting it on your fingernails and it's gross. And the scent of it, I wish it had a little more scent to it, but I love the scent so much. I'm going to end up, I don't know if you can see into that, but I am getting low, and I could just smell it right now. So I love the Ginger Snap smell, and I am going to rebuy this in the holidays if it's there. And I have other lip products that are very hydrating that maybe do better. I mean, I can go get my Aquaphor for night lip sleeping mask, and that's probably better a hydration. But oh, the smell. Love this. I did end up buying the Peach of Laneige. Again, super light smell, and it doesn't stick around a lot, so you know, but it has a nice glossy look to it. I like the fact that it's in a screw-off squeezy tube. I wish that they would come out with the Ginger Snap in this packaging, but I did end up picking this up again just for the peach of it. So now the next item that I'm going to talk about, I got both for the packaging and for the scent. This is Too Faced. This is also within the peach collection, and I hardly ever use this because this is more of a it's a little bit less of like the Laneige where it's very deep and hydrating, and it's more of like it's got the topper to it, and I'm missing the word for that, but it smells like great fake peach. And it has a cute little packaging, and it sits on my desk, so whenever I get stressed out from work, I can just open it up, sniff some great fake peach, and have a better day. Alrighty, so those are my main scent components, the things that I have specifically for the scent. But now we're going to move over into the packaging and collabs, and there's a little bit of movement between those two. One thing that I got for the packaging, this is the Hourglass. Sorry, we're getting a little, but if you can see that there's a bunny, the little bunny in the hourglass shape. That's really why I picked this package up. Hourglass has some interesting features. It's very light. It plays with light really well, but for the main part of it, I really liked that bunny, and I thought it was just pretty amazing. It was gold and shiny, and the products inside, this has the blush, highlighter, bronzer, and like a face powder, but it all has a lot of that light play to it. So I feel like it's a little a little fussier. Like you have to test that the light reflections on different sides and you're putting your face in different places is doing the right thing so it doesn't look weird. So I find it a more fussy product, but I love the fact that it was gold and had the lovely bunny on it. So there you go. Maybe I'm shallow, but that's it. So then next we have the Urban Decay Prince palette. I like the fact that this was in the purple, from the Purple Rain stage, and you got a little eyeball from Prince. And the names of the songs on it always made me think of the music whenever I opened it, but the eyeshadows themselves are not great. They're dry, they don't have a great color payoff, and you just gotta really work at it to get, you know, a more impressive look. But I loved the door packaging. It goes with my walls, and this sits right there on top of my makeup collection. And it makes me feel nostalgic and happy. It was funny because my father, who didn't really know or love Prince at all, but knew that I loved Prince, called me when Prince died just to check up on me to see how I was doing. So in a way, this also reminds me of my dad. So anyway, that's the Urban Decay Prince palette, who is just here for ceremonial reasons to sit atop the makeup area. Now, the other thing that sits on top of that, Urban Decay did a collab with Game of Thrones, and in that they had the brushes that looked like swords. I'm a big fan of swords and a big fan of Game of Thrones, so this sits on top of the Prince palette. This is not really great to work with as an eyeshadow brush, but you know, it's a sword, so it's decorative now. It is now decorative. Also, things that I picked up from the Game of Thrones collection, I did pick up the lipsticks. I do love Urban Decay's lipstick formulation. These aren't necessarily specifically my colors, but I did pick up all of them except for the White Walker one. So you've got a gold, you've got a bright red, and then you've got the Sansa color, which is just kind of a light peach. But I thought the packaging was lovely, and just reminded me of Game of Thrones, so I really liked that. So now, speaking of things that, when everyone says who asked for that, you always have to remember that somebody probably asked for that, or that the companies felt that people would ask for that. And this is where ColourPop comes in with their NBA palette. I'm a Heat fan. Go Heat. Just watched some Summer League. That was great. Now with ColourPop, luckily, I do like the color story, and the colors are very pigmented and do really well. So like it's a quality actual product. So this is actually something that I do use. But I got it because it's my team. They did make other teams, and some of those palettes were really cute, but I couldn't bring myself to buy them even if I loved the color story, because I felt like it was like the be true to your school kind of thing. Like, this is my palette, this is my team, this is us, this is where we go. So I have the Miami Heat palette, and other people were very puzzled when those came out, like, who asked for that? And it's like, there's a lot of sportsy girls who like makeup, come on. And they also had face glitter and little sticky things and just anything you needed to go to a game and just be, you know, really fanned out. So anyway, I was the person that asked for that. Now also for packaging, this really got to me. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, the new, the cream bronzer. And from the moment I saw this, I was just in awe. I had one of those, the Smog moments, where Smog sees the golden statue and is just transfixed and can't take his eyes off of it. This was a Smog moment for me. I'm like, I must have it for my treasure. And I was trying to decide what color to get, what shade to get, because Charlotte Tilbury, some of the shades, even if you're very light, the number ones are too light. So I was trying to decide number one, number two, and see if people, you know, were posting reviews of it. And I suddenly realized it didn't matter, because I was just going to take a chance with whatever shade I could get was available. But this packaging was, I needed this. And it was one of those that it reminded me of like pirate treasure too. Like, so I'm like, it's a double bonus. It's like pirate treasure, it's beautiful. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna go with shade 1, which ended up being perfect. This is actually a really great product. It's mostly waterproof, so you don't have to worry about it really wearing down, or if you're sweating or you're out in the heat. It's a really great product. So I'm super thankful. I use this, I love it, but the packaging just delights me all the time. And for my Dragon Hoard, this was a great purchase. So Charlotte Tilbury. So now other things that have come into my collection, some of them are more strictly for naming. So they're things that I figured I would like, but the name drew me in. For instance, this is Beauty Bakery's The Chosen Bun. Now this is a completely neutral palette. It's all about the cinnamon buns. Okay, it's very pretty. I got Beauty Bakery's Breakfast in Bed, which I loved. I used it a lot. It's a great color story. So I figured that I would like the shadows in here, which I do. I enjoy this. And it has all of the lovely frosty names, but The Chosen Bun, how could you resist this? If you love puns the way I love puns, you just can't resist The Chosen Bun. So there you go, got that for the name. Now this is another one, the Nabla Dreamy 2 palette. I loved the outside and the packaging. And so I was having a little love affair with Nabla for a minute there. I got one of their lip glosses in an Ipsy bag and loved it. And it was another one of the toasted coconut, kind of a scent to it. Loved it. So I started going on a Nabla kick, and I got this palette for the packaging. I thought that it was, it stirred something inside of me, like the dreamy witchy part. But the shadows themselves are all right. They're pretty good. They're not the best quality of shadows that I have, but they're certainly not bad. They're dependable. They're all right. So because of packaging, this did not decluttered, but they also, the names of things in here. They have, this is Lucid Dreaming right here. And then my favorite, and I feel like I've got to write about this somehow. There's a shade called New Past. And I am completely enamored of that idea, the new past, and thinking about that. So this I keep in my collection. It doesn't get decluttered for the packaging and for the naming. So that's how that came into my collection. Now, other things from Nabla that ended up staying in my collection and that I handed down, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of a liquid lip, but Nabla has one. I have another color that I actually do like, and it's comfortable to wear. This one is Noblesse Oblige, and I bought it just for the name. I trusted that Nabla would come out with something that I would like. I like the color of it, but really it's the name. And whenever I think of it and see it and think of the name, it fills me with all sorts of fanciness. So got this from Nabla. Now, also in that liquid lip category, the naming and the packaging of things, like I said, I'm not a huge liquid lipstick lover, but ColourPop did get me again, with Rapunzel, you know, the packaging of it, but the actual product is a liquid lip named Flynn. And so whenever I see this, I'm always Flynn Rider and the smoldering, you know, I can see it smoldering. So whenever I see this, I'm just joyful about it, and loved the movie. Like the packaging of the outer packaging. The inner packaging, it's all right, but it's the name. The name is what keeps me going. Now, other in that liquid lip category, this was one of my first purchases of things for the name. And this is Beauty Bakery again. This is a liquid lip, and this is Surreptitious. Get it? Surreptitious. Yeah. I bought this because of that. It's a pretty deeper mauve shade, but it does have that liquid lip where it's not as comfortable as I'd like. So it's not I don't reach for this very often, but it's my first. It's Surreptitious. So I'm keeping that. And also in that category, for packaging and for naming. And this is a beautiful color. This is Too Faced, and this is Stocks and Bondage. And it's lovely, shimmery. It looks great on. It's a perfect color. The only thing is you can feel the glitter particles. So I don't reach for it all the time, but it's a lovely color. And I love the packaging. The packaging looks so pretty in my collection. And when I put it away, you can see the top cap of that. So it looks great in all dimensions. And it's called Stocks and Bondage, which I just got a huge kick out of. So it's staying for all the reasons, but especially for that color and the name. Now we have another gloss. This is Lorac, and I got this because a bad memory that's become happy. I was working at an ad agency, and I had mentioned to the HR director that I was working on my MFA, and she said, "Oh, does that mean we have to start calling you Duchess now?" And then wandered off. And like, I was deeply wounded, and especially thought it was highly inappropriate of an HR person to say that. But it helped me feel better about leaving the job. And also, I ended up with this color from Lorac called Duchess, and it is beautiful. Lorac is a underrated sort of a brand, but it has very dependable items, like the glosses, the lips, the eye palettes, the face palettes are really solid. They're not always as sexy as some of the other things coming out, but they're really solid products. But this was a beautiful gloss. It's creamy. It's opaque with the pink, but it's got a nice glossy shine, and it really suits both cool and warm toned people. But I keep it. I love it. I use it, but I bought it for the name. I keep it for the entire package, but also it reminds me of the fact that yes, I'd be fine if you'd call me Duchess. It's okay. Alrighty, now going on to other collabs. Now, also the things that people say, you know, who asked for this. I made a discovery this year that I don't love items that are savory items, you know, and in this case, we're going to talk about Glamlight. The pizza palette, I couldn't do. I kept hearing in the back of my head, you know, people saying pizza face. Couldn't do, you know, I couldn't do the Elf, the Chipotle palette. Just the idea of savory things on my face, not so much. But then Glamlight started moving towards, like, you know, ice cream, and I'm like, okay. And then that was bulky packaging though. And then drinks, and like, okay, I could do drinks. I can do desserts. I can do drinks. And then something happened to me that I did not expect. Angelica Nyquist was trying out the Frosted Flakes palette, and I was suddenly just entranced. I don't have a thing with Frosted Flakes. The owner of the brand was telling a story about how she had to return a box of Frosted Flakes to the store so she could make it to work, you know, and like totally tugged my heartstrings. But it was really Angelica picking out the color story and making, see, it's little Tony the Tiger. Great color story, fun, super pigmented, and just that idea of fun. Like suddenly I was going to be having fun in my life because I had a Frosted Flakes palette. And that's Angie's fault. But I'm super happy I got it. These are great colors. I've made some, I use the orange looks a lot, but every once in a while I dive into the turquoise and blue, and I'm really loving it. So that's the Frosted Flakes palette. And it's fun. And it's regular sized, so it fits nicely in my collection, unlike a pizza palette that I would not know what to do with. But one of the surprise things that came out of that also was a lip liner. Now it comes with a lipstick, which is in the same type of a packaging, which is cute. But it's a matte lipstick, and it's comfortable, really comfortable on the lips, but it looks matte, it looks dry. So I have to top it with a lip gloss, which I can get a really great look out of it. But it's one that's like, eh. But I ended up loving this lip liner. I'm wearing this lip liner with another color of lipstick that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But it's a great shade. Let me see if I can do it where you can see it. It is a firm lip liner. It's you sharpen it. It's a firm lip liner, but so it's not overly creamy where it's messy, but it's still easy to spread. And it's just this perfect warm beigey color. So beautiful. So that was a surprise hit from the, buying something for other reasons category. And it's also very distinguishable from my other lip liners, so I don't have to worry about having a hard time finding it. It's really easy to find. So the other thing that's on my lip today is something that I'm probably going to open a can of worms with this one, but it is Pat McGrath Labs from the Bridgerton collection. So it's a collab that got me. I love Bridgerton, and I try and limit my Pat McGrath because Pat McGrath is not cruelty free, and I'm trying to do at least 90% of my makeup and skincare as cruelty free. So Pat McGrath falls on that one, but I had gotten a couple of her lip products. I got one from Ipsy, I got a lip gloss, and then I got another in a Sephora sample bag. So I'd been getting her lip products. So when this came out, the Bridgerton in me was just like, oh, I'm like, oh, it's cute. It's a little lighter packaging than her normal lipsticks, so you can't really like throw this and kill someone with it as you can with some of her other lipsticks who are so heavy. So this was just, the packaging was cute, and it was related to Bridgerton. And then I saw people, a lot of the PR that got sent out, this color here, negligee, was sent out, and it was sent out to creators with all different skin tones. And I saw them wearing negligee, deeper skinned creators, lighter skin creators, and this color of negligee looked really good on everybody. Like it was this weird, like, oh, they've stumbled on this universal tone. And this is a very comfortable formula. They have a set of slightly cooler shades and slightly warmer shades. They're the same on tone in each part, like the lighter or darker in the tone, except for one is warm tone and one is cool tone. So if you want a lot of variation, you should get something that's a light tone and a dark tone, in whichever, the warmer or the cooler category. The cooler ones are in the blue packaging for the Bridgertons, and the pink packaging is kind of for the Featheringtons in my mind. But the idea is this is creamy, it's pretty, and it wears really nicely, super comfortable, much more long wearing than you think it can. Both of those are the lipstick, it's just my hand is not smooth. So there's the lip liner I'm wearing with the Frosted Flakes, and then here is negligee from Pat McGrath Labs. So in this case, I did pick up the Pat McGrath. I wish that her company would become cruelty free. That would be super nice. I would like that. But in the meantime, this is Bridgerton. This is from the Bridgerton collection. And it has packaging, it has the collaboration. I mean, nobody knows this is going to be Bridgerton but me, but I know, and that's the important thing. So this is negligee from the Pat McGrath Bridgerton collection. I will say that recently I used all of my willpower not to buy something, and I'm glad I did. Hip Dot came out with a Girl Scout collection, and in that they had 3 different lipsticks. They had one that was a thin mint smelling and packaging looking color. They had a caramel color, and then they had a lemon, and all those were the scents too, a lemon, caramel, chocolate mint. And I just about purchased that. My hand was quivering over the button to buy it. And then I started looking at lip swatches, and everybody's lips looked so dry and terrible. I'm like, they did not get a good lip swatch from anybody. And that war between this is going to smell so yummy, but this is not going to look, like I'm going to have to put a gloss over it to make it look good. And my hand was shaking, and finally I'm like, no, it's okay. And in my deep dive for the researching of that, I did stumble upon the fact that Lip Smackers apparently has also collaborated with Girl Scouts, and they have some scented lip, like chapsticks, lip balms. So I may be, in the end, you know, following that rabbit hole down and picking up some Girl Scout items before that. But until then, we'll just see. We'll kind of wait and see what happens. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, and we'll hopefully see you in the next video. Have a great day, you guys. Bye-bye.